Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome back to Becoming Everwell, a channel that features real, vulnerable stories of everyday becoming on this adulthood journey. I'm a former high school English teacher who believes that an education extends far beyond academics, so I focus my attention on life learning moments from daily life. Today's episode is part 2 of AI versus the writer. Be sure to watch part 1 before this one. I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow. So picking up right where part 1 left off. Beyond school, it's not that using ChatGPT in one's writing is cheating. We're not being assessed by teachers anymore. But because ChatGPT uses the vast swath of existing published writing on the internet to create its written responses, writers using ChatGPT are not purists with their writing. And that's okay. Not all of us strive to be purists with our writing. In essence, ChatGPT is to writing as performing and enhancing drugs are to athletics, as auto-tune is to music, as Betty Crocker is to scratch baking, as Botox is to aging, as home goods is to furniture craftsmanship. None of these tools are wrong, but all of them are inauthentic. Now, I'm not opposed to leveraging AI to support work and life. AI can effectively function as an executive assistant, a business partner, an editor, a marketer, a cheerleader, and more. Personally, I've had some fun with AI, like within Canva, which is an online design and publishing tool. So I fed Canva's AI tool with all kinds of prompts and directives to get this digital watercolor-like image that I use for marketing my letter writing services. Now, I'm not a competent painter, nor do I have the budget to hire a watercolorist, although I wish I did. And I certainly do not sell my painting services, nor do I take credit for creating this image. But I'm grateful to have this AI-generated art, even though it's somewhat generic. Would a watercolorist cringe at it? Maybe. But since I'm not a professional painter, it doesn't really matter to me. It's good enough for me and my purposes. Likewise, ChatGPT has enabled mediocre writers to write much better. And that's a game changer for anyone who struggles to write well. But this brings me back to my husband's comment linking my writing to AI that set me off in the first place. Upon reflection, I realized that we're simply coming from two different perspectives. He sees AI-generated writing as being the standard of good writing. I see AI-generated writing as the hallmark of generic writing. And this dichotomy amongst consumers will always exist with writing. And it will exist with art and music and athletics and fashion and design and flavor and anything where amateurs and professionals form opinions and preferences. And so it comes back to values for those of us who write. We each need to decide for ourselves where we're striving for generic and are fine with it, and where we're striving for authenticity and will be true to it. When it comes to professional writers, the most tempting aspect of leaning on ChatGPT for writing support is that it's flawless with its correctness, both grammatically and with punctuation. It swiftly does the work of a human editor by cleaning up the piece's technical hiccups. This kind of AI editorial support isn't plagiarism, but it's still murky in the eyes of purists. And just as published writers acknowledge and credit their human editors, published writers should be expected to acknowledge and credit their AI editors. Readers will likely respect AI-supported writers for being transparent about it. When using ChatGPT or any LLM tool as a writer, we enter into plagiarism when we turn to it for idea generation that we plan to publish as our own. If you know that you do this, the ethical move is to start citing, crediting, and acknowledging ChatGPT. And if you don't use ChatGPT or any LLM tool, consider incorporating a no AI content badge on your original written work. I designed this one in Canva, but got inspired by a similar badge with no source to cite that I'd seen circulating in Substack. You're welcome to copy and paste this badge without having to credit me to endorse your integrity as a writer too. From now on, I'll be adding the badge to my published work, and I'll continue to cite AI sources just as I cite human sources. So visit my Substack if you'd like to copy and paste this badge for your work. It's lindsayhurdy.substack.com. And let's not forget our readers and their experience with our writing. It's no secret. We writers need our readers. And because of AI, readers have become inundated with vanilla writing across the web. AI is able to take all the published writing that exists and create decent imitation of what's already there without actually plagiarizing. So although that's productive for writers in need of content, it's also boring for readers of that content. If imitation is your goal as a writer, fine, have at ChatGPT. But if you want to be an original writer with a loyal readership, your written voice must exist ahead of the imitation curve that is ChatGPT. If your writing is great, you'll likely get imitated with time. You may even become a victim of plagiarism, which would be awful. But putting the downside aside, we writers all have the opportunity to write at the front of the pack ahead of the generic copycats, to outrace ChatGPT and the writers who rely on it. The goal for original writers is to be both clean with our writing mechanics and sensational in our usage of language. When I read fiction, I do this thing when a writer's use of language arrests me because my senses prick alive in a palpable way. I write diction or syntax in the margin. Just a reminder, diction means word choice and syntax means the arrangement of words. So to find examples of delicious original language that ChatGPT simply isn't capable of producing, I plucked 3 random books from my shelf and flipped through pages on a scavenger hunt for my marginal markings. And I quickly found these gems. First, quote, "A liquid trail of hate flooded her chest." That's Toni Morrison in Sula. Next, "The skeleton of habit alone uphold the human frame." That's Virginia Woolf and Mrs. Dalloway. And this one, quote, "The fall at age 2 from her high chair still visible as a comma on her chin." That's Jhumpa Lahiri in her story A Temporary Matter that's part of the book Interpreter of Maladies. These examples of diction and syntax most definitely come from the hand of writers with intimate knowledge of being human. No question. ChatGPT could not imagine language to describe disdain, muscle memory, or a scar like these authors have. Only human experience can lead to arresting original language. Also, at my daughter's open house, her English teacher explained that in the age of AI, she's concerned about the students' habit of checking one's thinking that comes with AI's presence. Her hope for students is that they gain the confidence to trust their minds rather than assuming that the internet provides the only right answer. Amen, I say. And I think her concern is universal and valid for all of us in today's world, not just students in the academic setting. Thinking for oneself requires time and patience. Objective learning by consuming a variety of diverse sources and perspectives requires intellectual endurance. And trusting one's own ideas without validation from the internet requires confidence. We all need the space and grace to allow our minds to grow naturally, to develop opinions, and to determine what we think and why, so that we don't become robotic regurgitators of other people's opinions and thoughts. Our schools and homes and work environments must become more intentional about allotting real time to the nurturing of the mind's growth at mind speed without the constant input of AI. Culturally, we've got to de-emphasize the importance of efficiency when it comes to human idea generation, creativity, and originality. AI has efficiency covered. Humans need to lean more into what we've got that AI will never have, and that is the experience of being alive and navigating the world with our senses. As we find our way as writers within ChatGPT's shadow, it's tempting to surrender, assume inadequacy, and leave the writing to the robots. But here's the thing. We may be slower, but as human beings, we have the edge and always will. Our fuel as human writers is our firsthand experience within the natural, environmental, relational, emotional, and spiritual world. And AI's fuel? It's us. AI depends on what we feed it from our experiences and creates a secondhand imitation of personhood. but we, the humans, get first dibs on all of life's menu. We get to flirt and dance and soak and slither and exist in this wildly textured and diverse world. AI will never have direct access to aliveness. So your aliveness matters, my friend, as does your writing. And I suspect that in our changing world, original writing on the human experience matters so much more than we can even imagine. Let's keep growing. I'm Lindsay Hurdy. Learn more about me and my offerings on my Substack, lindsayhurdy.substack.com. And I'm most excited about the Year of Meaningful Connection letter writing project, which is available for only $48. It's my newest offering and it's awesome. Go to foreverletterwriting.com to learn all about it. So whether you're here to grow as a writer or with a desire for inner fulfillment coaching, which I do offer, or for the quiet life learning that may accompany my stories, I'm so grateful that you found this spot on the web, and I hope you'll keep coming back. Until next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.